Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Alicia and I'm back with another DIY video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these custom graduation t-shirts. These t-shirts came out super cute, they're super easy to make, no Cricut machine needed. So you know what? Enough said, let's get into it. So like always, to make these t-shirts the same exact way that I did, head on over to my website, kreateyourdreamz.com, to get my templates. When you get there, go to where it says t-shirts, and under t-shirt transfer designs, go to graduation designs. Now the ones I'm going to be using is going to be the maroon and silver. I'm going to use the maroon and silver 2022 transfer design. I'm going to use the PNG file and I'm going to go ahead and add that to cart. Now all of my PNG files are transparent and the background is already removed, so that's perfect for the project that we're going to be doing. Then I'm going to go back into my graduation designs and I'm going to go ahead and select the maroon color graduation cap. I'm gonna pick the one that's solid, that has no writing or no font or text inside of it, just a plain maroon color graduation hat. I'm gonna also get the PNG file for that and add it to cart as well. Now if you are buying more than one graphic from my website, I have a coupon code called Instant BOGO, and that's going to activate the buy one get one free that I offer on the website. So I'm going to also link everything down below for you guys, but once I'm checking out, I'm going to go to where it says discount code and I'm going to put Instant BOGO and then hit the word apply, and that's going to activate our buy one get one free. And all of my graphics are instant download, so once you finish your checkout process, download boxes will pop up on your images, so you can go ahead and download them instantly as soon as you check out. It's super easy, super quick, and once you get your images, go ahead and save them to your laptop, your desktop, your phone, or however you're making the purchase of the images. Now that I have our images, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to edit these the way that I did, where you can add your graduate's picture, their name. You can do proud mom, proud dad, whatever you choose to do, or whatever text you choose to put in the graduation cap. So I like to edit these using picmonkey. Now you can use Canva, but I've always used picmonkey, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how to edit them using picmonkey. Now picmonkey does offer a 14-day free trial in case you're new to picmonkey, but since I already have an account, I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you guys how to edit these using the picmonkey service. Now once I log into my account, I'm going to go to the top where it says create new and then go to blank canvas. Once I get to blank canvas, I'm going to scroll down to where it says print sizes. Now the print size that we're going to use to do these are 11 by 8.5 inch. That's regular US standard size print size. So I'm going to click 11 by 8.5 inch, and then it's going to pop up as a clear sheet of paper that measures 11 by 8.5 inch. So once that clear sheet of paper pops up and our editing browser opens up, I'm going to go to the top of where it says add image, and I'm going to go ahead and add the images that we need for this project. The images I'm going to add are the ones that we just got from the website. The cap, I'm going to add the pictures of our graduate, and then I'm also going to add the 2022, or maybe I'll go ahead and add that later. But once I add my image, especially my template, I'm going to go ahead and click that one time, and it's going to pop up into the center of our black sheet of paper. Then I'm going to click on the picture of our graduate and go ahead and add that as well. I'm going to go ahead and size him to where I want it to be. Picmonkey has a cool feature called remove background. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and most of the time it removes the entirety of the background. Then I'm going to go into where it says edit, and I'm going to go ahead and play with the exposure, tone up his highlights and his midtones, and add some saturation and some contrast just to make him stand out more. Because he is also wearing red, it kind of blends in with the maroon color of the graduation cap. So I'm just going to go ahead and play with the highlights and the tones to make him stand out. Then I'm going to also crop him because the picture is of him standing up. So I want to kind of get like maybe his waist and above, because I want to make the picture a lot bigger in the center of our cap, just like that. Just get it. I'm going to size it and get it to where it's perfect or where I'm happy with it, so that his face shows a lot more in the cap in itself. So once I get the sizing correct, I want to go ahead and add a highlight or a shadow around him. So once I'm finished, I'm going to head back over to the side and I'm going to hit where it says shadows and outlines. and I'm going to go to where it says shadow and add a shadow around him. Then I'm probably going to scale it a bit to where the shadow stands out a little bit more, where it's a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go to where it says scale and make the shadow a little bit thicker around him so he pops inside of the graduation cap. I'm just going to go ahead now and also add the other pictures as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crop the image because this picture is a picture of someone standing next to him. So I just want him by himself. So I'm going to go ahead and crop the other young man out of the picture. And then after I crop that, I'm going to go to where it says remove background and remove the background of this picture as well. Then after I remove the background, I'm going to size it and place it where I want it to be. This picture, I actually want two of them to be next to him, one on each side of him. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one first where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go back into edits and go ahead and play around with his exposure and just do his highlights, his midtones, the shadows, and play around with the contrast so that I can get the picture looking the way that I want it to be before I copy and paste another one of the same picture on the opposite side of him. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play around with that and get him as close to perfect as basically as I wanted to look on the picture. And I think I'm going to also go in and I'm going to add a shadow around him. Even though I want the main picture in the center to stand out, I think that even with this picture on the side, I'm going to add a shadow. And I'm also going to fade it where it kind of looks like it's more dull, it's not as vibrant. So I went ahead and faded him, and then I'm also going to add a shadow around it as well. But you guys can play around with the tools in PicMonkey and get the images how you want them to look. And I'm going to left click on the image and press copy, left click again and click paste. And then I'm going to go ahead and the other one that I just added to him, I'm going to go down to the bottom to where it says flip horizontally, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip that so his hands will go in the other direction. As you guys can see, let me go ahead and flip that. There you go. So the picture basically just flipped to the opposite direction, and I love it. I think it's perfect like this. It looks really, really well. The pictures are faded so it makes the picture in the image, the bigger picture of him, stand out even more. I love it. I think it's cute. I also do this when it comes to like my chip bags, when people want like pictures of themselves behind a main picture. This is a good way of how you can do it. Add multiple pictures and then you can make the main picture bright and then you fade the other two. So I'm just going to go ahead and size him and place him and get them as close to perfect as I want it to be until I'm happy with the way that it looks. Then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add some text. So I'm going to go into where it says, you know what, first I'll add some sparkle. I'm going to go into where it says images or graphics, and I'm going to type into the search bar sparkle. And once I type that in, I'm going to scroll down and different types of sparkle or glittery effects will appear, and they're transparent as well. So I'm going to pick the one that I like, and once it pops up in the center, I'm going to move it to where I want it to be on the image. I think around the dark parts of the image, like his pants, because it's black, that'll be really good. And I'm going to copy and paste another one, and then I'm going to flip the second one horizontally so that it's facing the opposite direction of the other one on the opposite side on the other picture of him. Perfect. I love it just like that. So now we're going to add some text. So I'm going to go into text and hit add text. And the font that I'm going to use is called Yellow Tail. It's like a nice scripted looking font. And his nickname is Mr. CEO. So I'm going to add that on top of him. Just put Mr. CEO. And then I want to also add some silver glitter into that. So I'm going to size it and get it the size that I want it to be in the center of him in our main picture in the middle. And then I'm going to go over to where it says textures, and this is how you can change or you can add printing into your texts. So I'm going to go to where it says textures, and PicMonkey has a lot of textures to choose from. You can also add your own, but I'm going to hit glitter. Then I'm going to change that glitter color to silver. And then after I change it to silver, I'm going to go to where it says fade and pull the fade all the way to the side so that is a full bright silver, and click apply. And then after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go into shadows and outlines. And like always, I'm going to add a shadow to this text, and I'm going to also add a black outline so that makes Mr. CEO stand out even more. And there you go, and look how wonderful that looks so far, guys. Super easy, super simple. If you ever wonder how people do stuff like this is how. And you don't have to be a graphic expert. Just follow step by step and play around with it, and you can definitely learn how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and add his school name to the diploma part of the image. So I'm going to go back into text. I'm going to hit add text. And once the text box pops up, I'm going to go ahead and move it to where I want the text to be. I was going to add his school name, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and add his name. But I'm going to change the font to the font called Freshman. So I'm going to go ahead and change the font to Freshman. I'm going to add his name, which is Chris Odom, into the text box. And then I'm going to resize that and play with it and place it to where I want it to be. I'm also going to change the texture of that to that same silver color as the Mr. CEO. So I'm going to add his name, Chris Odom, and I'm going to size it to where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go into textures, go back into glitter, change the inside of his name to that silver glitter, and push that fade all the way to the side and click apply. I'm going to also add a shadow and a black outline to his name as well to make it stand out and pop within the graduation cap or within the diploma of the cap. And then once I do that and I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and go in and resize his name, kind of twist it towards an angle so that it kind of matches up with the size or the shape of the diploma in itself. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and size it up to where I want it to be, get the placement correct, and then I'm going to go ahead and download and print. Now to download and print this, at the very top bar, right where it says 11 by 8.5, when you go over, there is a tab that says download. So you would click that and you can download either a PNG, JPG, or PDF. So I'm going to download the PNG file of this and go ahead and print that. And then at the end, when I'm finished printing everything, I'll come back and show you guys how it printed out. And I'm actually printing this on my inkjet printer. So I just went ahead and made a few changes. I went ahead and moved up those sparkles a little bit. And yeah, I love it. I'm satisfied with it. I'm happy with the way that it looks. I feel like my client or my customer would like it as well. So we're going to go ahead and download and we're going to print. And then I'm going to show you guys how to edit the other cap as well as our 2022. Now that we finished with that one, we're going to go back into create new again, and we're going to go down to print sizes and get another blank sheet of paper that measures 11 by 8.5 inch. So once that pops up, we'll go ahead and we'll go back to add image and add the images that we're going to use for this design. So I'm going to click add image, go into my computer and go ahead and add our designs to this and go ahead and start working on that as well. So the images that I added is our graduation cap. Once again, our maroon color cap. I added our 2022, but I'm not going to use it yet. And I also added this lion because it's the mascot or the logo of the school that the customer goes to. So I'm going to go into text and click add text, and I'm going to go ahead and add his name into the cap. The font I'm going to be using is called Freshman once again. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add his name because I want that to be within the entire cap. So once I go ahead and add his name, I'm going to go ahead and size it and place it to where I want it to be within the center of the cap. And then we're going to go over to textures once again, and we're going to change the coloring of the letters to that silver once again. because the colors of his school, if I'm not mistaken, are maroon, like a silvery gray, and black and white. So yeah, I went ahead and changed the coloring to silver in the letters of his name, and then we're gonna go into shadows and outlines once again, and we're gonna add a shadow to his name, and we're gonna add a black outline like always. I love doing this because adding the shadow and adding the outline, it really makes your text or your image pops out on whatever you're putting it on. So now that I got that, I'm going to go ahead and, because I think I want his name to be close together because it's kind of spaced out, like in between the Chris and the Odin, it's kind of a space in between there. So I think I'm going to go into where it says text space, and I'm going to space it. Yeah, so once you go into text spacing, it allows you to make the letters closer together or to make the spaces in between the words closer or further apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and space it to where the Chris and the Odom are not so far apart from each other to get them closer together. Then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and resize it more and make his name a tad bit bigger inside of the graduation hat. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back into text, and I'm going to add his school. I'm not going to put the entire school name because it's long. It's Martin Luther King. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the initials MLK into the diploma section of the hat. And I'm going to use, I think the font I'm going to use is, I'll go ahead and use Rosa. That's a really nice font as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and put MLK in capital letters. I'm not going to put any periods in between. I'm just going to put MLK by itself. Then I'm going to go into textures, and I'm going to go ahead and change that to silver as well. Go back into shadows and outlines and add a shadow and a black outline to our MLK. Then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and size it up to where I want it to be inside the diploma, and go ahead and fix it and make it like, just make it look even and make it look nice, kind of slanted a bit so it can fit into that diploma shape really nicely. And then I'm going to go in and add those lion mascots to each side of the MLK. So I'm going to put the MLK in the center of our diploma, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a lion to each side of the MLK. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and come back and show you guys. Oh, and also, when I add the lion to each side of the MLK, of course, don't forget we always have to remove our background. Thank goodness I was able to find the logo. If you can't find the logo of your school, it's okay. You can probably create one, or probably go into Google and clip art and put, like, if your logo is like a globe, or if it's a lion, just go into Google Images and put clip art of a lion or clip art of a globe, or whatever your school logo is, and then you'll be able to go ahead and add that to your image. So right now I'm just working on the MLK. Once I'm happy with the placement and the size of it, I'm going to go ahead and add those lions to each side, and then show you guys how I place them. And first, with just one click, and then I'm going to size it and put it to where I want it to be once it pops up in the center of our graduation cap. Then I'm going to go back over to remove background and go ahead and remove that background. And just like always, the background remove very nicely. I'm going to place it, and I'm going to size it to where I want it to be in the diploma. And then I'm going to click on copy and paste, because I want to put one on each side. And after I copy and paste that, I'm going to go to the bottom of where it says flip horizontally once again, because I want them to face each other. So I'm going to go to where it says flip horizontally and flip our second lion so that he is kind of facing, his face faces the other lion's face, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to go ahead and rotate it so that it looks symmetrical with the lion on the opposite side. And there you have it. It's perfect. I love the way that it turned out. I think it looks good. I'm just going to probably tweak it a little bit more, but I'm really satisfied with it. So I'm going to go to download, and I'm going to go ahead and download this and save it and print that as well. And then the last one we're going to work on is our 2022 font, or our 2022 image. So I'm just going to click it once, and once it pops up in the center, we're going to go ahead and size that and move that up. Now, I don't like to waste transfer paper, so we're going to go ahead and put 2 of these on one sheet of transfer paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and size it and make it as wide and as long as I want it to be. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the image again so that I can add another 2022 and put that underneath the one that we have right here. Or you can just hit copy and paste on the one that we just did, and then once it comes up, the duplicate comes up, just go ahead and put that underneath. And then just go ahead and size them and make them both a good size. Make sure that they're the identical size. So just go ahead and make them both a good size so that they can take up space on your transfer paper. I'm sorry, on your black sheet of paper, because we don't want to waste any transfer paper. And keep in mind, even though I am printing on white t-shirts, I don't use light transfer paper. I only use dark. So we're going to go ahead and download that and print. Now that everything has came out of the printer, this is how they look. This is our Chris Odin with the MLK and the 2 lion logos. And don't worry about the lines you might see when you print, because once you put the heat on there, it's going to basically come out perfect. Here is our Mr. CEO with his pictures. I am in love with this design. Like, it came out so nice. I love it. And you guys see how easy it was to accomplish that. And this is our 2022. So you can use a cutting machine to cut these images out, but because they're so big, it's just probably easier and quicker for you to use a pair of scissors. So I'm going to go ahead and get my scissors and cut these out. And when I'm cutting these out, you don't have to cut them out precise to where only the black outline is showing. Because these are going on white t-shirts, it's okay to leave a little bit of white around the edge of that black outline. So don't worry about it being cut out perfect. As long as you cut off most of the white, then it should be fine. But the white that's going to be left, which is only a little bit of white trim around the edges, that's going to blend in with our white t-shirts. Now, if you're using a different color t-shirt, I would suggest you cut these out with a cutting machine, because you want to get off all of that white, because the white is going to show when you iron it on. So if you're using like a blue, yellow, or any other color t-shirt, definitely, guys, cut it out precise with your scissor to where no white is showing around the trim, or use your cutting machine. But this is how it looks once I cut it out. We have a little bit of white showing around that black outline, but it's okay because our t-shirts are white. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other images and speed it up a bit, and then come back and show you guys how everything looks once it's cut out. And then we're going to go ahead and iron these onto our t-shirts. I'm going to leave the information for the transfer paper that I use down below in my description box. So don't worry, all the information will be down below. Okay, so now that we have all of our images cut out on our transfer paper, we're going to go ahead and prep our t-shirt and get it ready to iron on our images. So I just went ahead and laid out my ironing board, and I plugged in my iron to get it hot, and I'm just going to go ahead and start the process of prepping our t-shirt. So the first thing that I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take a piece of tape, just a regular piece of tape, guys. If you have a lint brush or a lint roller, then that's fine. But you kind of want to get off any pieces of hair or any small pieces of thread or anything that might be on the t-shirt. So I just used basically a piece of shipping tape and roll it over into a circle and just dab it across my t-shirt. That's going to get off anything small like a piece of hair, a piece of thread, even smaller things that you might not see with your eye, because once you iron on the transfer, whatever is on the t-shirt is going to go into your design and you can't remove it. So it's always good to start off with a flat, clean surface. So after I use my tape and dab it, I'm going to go in with my iron and get rid of those creases, because I don't want to iron it on with any creases, because your design is going to take on your shirt. So if your shirt have creases, creases are going to come into the design. So you want to go ahead and make sure that your t-shirt is clean and it's a flat surface with no creases in there. So once you iron on a little bit, let your t-shirt cool for a few minutes before you start to iron on your transfer designs onto your t-shirt. Now that I have that clean and I have it clear and flat, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just probably going to go ahead and clean it off a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and get our first transfer design, which is going to be our cap. I think I'm going to do the cap with his pictures first. Or you know what? I'll do his name. I'll do his name first. So I just went ahead and put the picture on the t-shirt and kind of lined it up to where I want it to be. Now to find the center of your t-shirt, your center of your t-shirt is where the sizing in your neck of your t-shirt is. So I basically just line it up right underneath that. And to take apart the transfer paper from the backing, I use like a small clothing pin and just press down on one edge of the transfer paper and just go ahead and peel off our design from the transfer paper backing. And don't peel it off too rough. Be gentle and just gently glide it down, because it will rip if you try to just drag it off of there. So just be careful and just peel it off. It comes off very easily, almost like a sticker. And then I'm going to go ahead and line that back up again on our t-shirt underneath where our neck or our neck part is, like right underneath where that size tab is going to be the center of our t-shirt. And then I want the point of the graduation hat to be right underneath that, and I'm going to put it like maybe 1.5 inches underneath our neck, if that makes sense, because you don't want it to be too up close to the neck part. You want it to be down a little bit. So about 1.5 inches, no more than 2 inches would be a good placement from underneath the neck of your t-shirt to the center part of where your design should be. Okay, so now that I have it placed where I want it to be, our transfer paper comes with a pack of tissue paper, and you cannot iron on these designs without that tissue paper, guys. Don't try it, because it's gonna be a total complete mess. So you want to go ahead and put on your tissue paper on top of your design, and then go ahead and take your iron, or even if you're doing a heat press, and go ahead and put that heat on that design. Now if you're using an iron like me, because I have gotten a heat press and I couldn't use it. I just returned it because I had gotten so used to using an iron that the heat press just was not working right for me. So if you're using an iron like I am, I'm going to show you guys how you can tell if your design is not finished, like if you need to put more heat. So I'm going to pick up the transfer paper and zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can tell when your design needs more heat if it has like ashy or blotchy spots in your design, mainly in the colored parts of your image. So you see how in the burgundy or the maroon color, how some of it is dark and then some of it has like that blotchy or that ashy kind of look. That means that the ashy parts need more heat. It's not finished, because the entire thing needs to be that dark maroon. So go ahead and add more heat to your image. Even over here on our cap where our tassel is, that needs more heat. Underneath the cap, on the bottom of the cap, needs more heat. So that's how you can tell that your image is not finished with the iron on process. So we want to go ahead and put our tissue paper back on top of our image and go ahead and add some more heat. So I'm going to speed that part up, and I'm going to come back and show you guys how it looks once it's finished, once enough heat is added to our image. And also, you can also check while you see how I'm lifting up that tissue paper and I'm checking the image while I'm ironing it on. When you're a beginner or you're doing this for the first time, definitely do that, because one thing I would say is if you leave your design on there too long, it will burn. So definitely check while you're ironing in your image on your t-shirt to see if it's complete or if it needs more heat on certain sections. So now I'm just going to go ahead and iron the bottom, because I'm going to put our 2022 underneath our graduation cap. So I'm just going to go ahead and flatten out that surface and go back in with my tape and take away any pieces of hair, any small debris that might be on there. Then I'm going to go ahead and line up our 2022 to where I want it to be. Then I'm going to go in with our clothing pin and remove the backing of the transfer paper from the front of our image. So I'm going to go ahead and line that back up again. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'm probably going to put it about 1 inch under where the diploma ends on the graduation cap. I don't want it to be too spaced out, but I don't want it to be too close together either. So about 1 inch under that first image is perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and put our transfer paper back on our design and go ahead and iron that on. And like I say, keep checking your image once you're using your iron to make sure that you have enough heat to see if it's finished or not. And also, to be on the safe side, if you're new to this, go ahead and cover up your graduation cap with another piece of transfer paper to make sure that you don't get any heat on that cap since it's finished. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this, and I don't think I'm going to do the other t-shirt. I'm not going to walk you guys through it. I'm just going to probably go ahead and put some music on and just have you guys watch. But it's the same process of the shirt that we just did. And after I'm done with this shirt, I'm going to go ahead and hang them up on a hanger so you can see how the finished project looks on the t-shirt. So now that I've finished with our t-shirts, I'm going to go ahead and hang them up so you guys can see. So this is the first t-shirt, or the second one that we ironed on, with his picture in it. And this t-shirt is actually a size medium. And I'm going to take a far away image, a video of it, so you guys can see how big the images came out on a medium sized t-shirt. But the images came out really nice. They look really good. My room is not as bright as I would like for it to be, so you guys can get the full effect, but these t-shirts came out absolutely wonderful. I'm so in love with it. So this is a far away look of how they look, and that's why I like to use 2 transfers to do our graduation cap, because if you try to fit 2 images on one transfer, it's going to be really small. So definitely use, when you're doing adult shirts, definitely use 1 transfer paper for your main design. So yeah, this is how it looks, guys, on our first t-shirt. I love it. It came out cute. I know they're going to love it. It's super nice. I love how his pictures look in the graduation cap. It just came out so wonderful, perfect and easy to make. And this is our second t-shirt, and this t-shirt size is actually an extra large. And you can see, even with the extra large size, the graphics came out wonderful. They came out a wonderful size on both t-shirts, because with this being an extra large, you would think it'll be a lot smaller, but no, guys, it looks really good. And yeah, this is how our second t-shirt looks. Here is our graduation cap. When I go up close, you can see the more burgundy or maroon color, but it looks wonderful, and it just pops on the t-shirt. And as you can see, that white outline that we had left when we were cutting it out, you can't even see that, tell that it's even on there. All you see is just the design itself, and that's it. So yeah, these are wonderful, guys, and I enjoyed making these for you and showing you guys how to make these. And I hope you definitely give this a try and make your own customized graduation t-shirts. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the video right here, and I'm definitely check my description box for all the links and my coupon code for my website to get my graphics. And thank you so much, guys, for watching this. Definitely give me a like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, feel free to leave that as well. And you guys have a blessed day, and congratulations to all our 2022 graduates. Stay blessed.